Hey everyone, welcome to Greenlane Off-Road. My name's Donovan and today we're going to be installing a set of our aluminum sliders on our 2022 Toyota Tacoma. After you've got the sliders unpacked, you'll find the hardware kit strapped underneath one of the sliders. We're going to get started on the install on the driver's side, but there are a few things that we have to remove before we can begin the installation. The rectangular plastic frame plug we'll remove and discard. We have to pop off the wire loom plastic clip harness here. We're going to undo this 12mm head bolt, these two 12mm headed nuts, and we will be reusing those. Because we're installing on a 4-door short bed, which is the same as an access cab long box, we also have to remove this 14mm bolt from the cross member, and it'll get reinstalled after the sliders are in place. If you have a 4-door long bed truck, you can disregard removing this bolt. Next, we're going to be removing the bolt holding the brake lines to the frame, as well as the bolt holding the plastic inner frame cover. Next, we're going to move the brake lines carefully out of the way so we can maneuver the plastic cover out. Next, we're going to remove this plastic brake line clip. That's going to get replaced with a bolt to hold the sliders on. We will not be reusing it. We'll also be installing a bolt underneath this device here through the large square opening in the frame. We'll also be removing this front plastic brake line clip to make room for a bolt. Next, we're going to hold up the slider and secure it loosely just using the bottom cross member bolt that we removed earlier. If this was a 4-door long bed truck, we'd use one of our supplied grade 8 hardware bolts to loosely secure it while we install the rest of the bolts. Hold the slider up in position and fasten it with the crossmember bolt that we removed earlier. Make sure that the wiring bracket is on the outside of the slider mounting rail and not pinched between the frame rail. Next, we're going to reinstall the factory bolt that we removed holding this bracket to the frame rail. So this time it's going to be sandwiching the slider between it. We like to use a little bit of never seize on all of our hardware just to make sure that it's nice and easy to remove should you ever have to. Now we're going to install all of the hardware loosely before tightening them up from the front to the back. The very front bolt, you have to reach your hand down the frame rail, and we're going to use a large washer on the back side and a small washer on the outside. Make sure you use the large washer on the inside of the frame on the large circular holes or the large rectangular holes. We've used 5 of the grade 8 bolts on the driver's side of this 4-door short bed Tacoma. And now that they're all installed loosely, we can go along and tighten them all up. Make sure you remember to tighten up the lower cross member bolt. And the 12mm nuts holding on the control box. Finally, we'll reinstall the frame cover and re-bolt the brake lines to the frame. Good news, the hard side's done. Now we're going to move on to the passenger side. First we're going to remove the plastic frame cover as we did on the driver's side. This will just get discarded. Next we'll remove this control box. By first removing the 2 10mm bolts holding the plastic cover. And then the 2 12mm holding the bracket to the frame. These will all get reinstalled on top of the slider. And lastly, we'll remove the 14mm crossmember bolt at the rear. Remove the inner plastic frame cover. Next we're going to hold up the slider and secure it loosely using the crossmember bolt like we did on the driver's side. Making sure that our bracket is on the outside of the slider frame rail. Next, loosely install the factory bolts through the bracket and through the slider mounting plate, just to help secure it while we install the rest of the supplied hardware. Next, loosely install the supplied grade 8 hardware, remembering to use the large washers on the inside of the frame wherever there's a large square hole or a large round hole. We used 7 nuts and bolts from the hardware kit on the passenger side. We will have some left over because we send the same hardware kit whether it's the long sliders or the short sliders. Now that we have all the hardware loosely installed, we can go ahead and tighten it all up, starting at the front and working our way towards the back. Now we can reinstall the plastic cover. And tighten it up using a 10mm socket. Don't forget to retighten your crossmember bolt. Lastly, reinstall the inner plastic frame cover. And your install is complete.